Welcome to In the Beginning, Profiles of the Bible. Today we'll be covering Cain. Please hit that like and subscribe button. We hope you enjoy. Cain was the firstborn son of Adam and Eve. His story is primarily found in Genesis 4. It explores the themes of jealousy, sin, and divine judgment, offering insights into the human condition and the consequences of disobedience. Through Cain's actions and the repercussions, the biblical account sheds light on the nature of sin and the necessity of repentance and redemption. The narrative of Cain begins with his birth, which is described in Genesis 4, 1 through 2. Now Adam knew Eve, his wife, and she conceived and bore Cain, saying, I have gotten a man with the help of the Lord. And again she bore his brother Abel. Now Abel was a keeper of the sheep, and Cain a worker of the ground. From the outset, Cain is represented as a farmer, while his brother Abel is depicted as a shepherd, setting the stage for the conflict that will arise between them. The pivotal moment in Cain's story occurs when he brings an offering to the Lord from the fruit of the ground, while Abel presents an offering from the firstborn of his flock. Genesis 4 through 5 records the response of the Lord to their offerings. And the Lord had regard for Abel and his offering, but for Cain and his offering he had no regard. So Cain was very angry, and his face fell. Though the text does not specify why the Lord favored Abel's offering over Cain's, but it suggests that Abel's offering was made in faith and obedience, while Cain's may have been lacking in sincerity and proper reverence. Cain's reaction to God's rejection of his offering is telling, as it reveals the presence of jealousy and resentment in his heart. Instead of humbly accepting God's judgment and seeking to rectify his actions, Cain becomes consumed with anger and envy towards his brother Abel. Genesis 4, 6 through 7 shows God's warning to Cain about the consequences of his attitude. The Lord said to Cain, Why are you angry, and why has your face fallen? If you do well, will you not be accepted? And if you do not do well, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is contrary to you, but you must rule over it. Despite God's admonition, Cain's heart remained hardened, leading to tragic consequences. The climax of Cain's story occurs when he lures his brother Abel into a field and kills him out of jealousy and rage. Genesis 4:8 recounts the murder. Cain spoke to Abel his brother, and when they were in the field, Cain rose up against his brother Abel and killed him. The act of this grave sin that results in the shedding of innocent blood and disruption of God's created order serves as a stark reminder of the destructive power of sin and the depths of which human beings can descend when they allow jealousy and anger to govern their actions. After murdering his brother, Cain attempts to conceal his crime and evade the divine judgment. But God confronts him and pronounces a curse upon him. In Genesis 4, 9 through 12 says, the exchange between God and Cain. Then the Lord said to Cain, Where is Abel your brother? He said, I do not know. Am I my brother's keeper? And the Lord said, What have you done? The voice of your brother's blood is crying to me from the ground. And now you are cursed from the ground, which has opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood from your hand. When you work the ground, it shall no longer yield its strength to you. You shall be a fugitive and wanderer on the earth. God's judgment upon Cain is multifaceted, encompassing both physical and spiritual consequences for his sin. Cain is cursed to wander the earth as a fugitive, cut off from the land, and unable to rest or find stability. The ground itself is cursed because of his actions, so no longer yielding its abundance to him as it once did. This curse serves as a vivid reminder of the interconnectedness of human and creation, as well as a profound impact on sin in the natural world. Despite the severity of his punishment, God shows mercy to Cain by sparing his life and protecting him from retaliation by others. Genesis 4:15 records God's promise to Cain. Then the Lord said to him, Not so. If anyone kills Cain, vengeance shall be taken up on him sevenfold. And the Lord put a mark on Cain, lest anyone who found him should attack him. The mark placed on Cain serves as a sign of divine protection, ensuring that he will not be harmed by others as he wanders the earth. In response to God's judgment, Cain expresses remorse and fear of his consequences and actions. Genesis 4:13 through 14 says, Cain said to the Lord, "My punishment is greater than I can bear. Behold, you have driven me today away from the ground, and from your face I shall be hidden. I shall be a fugitive and wanderer on the earth, and whoever finds me will kill me." Cain's words reveal a sense of guilt and shame for his sin, as well as recognition of the gravity of his punishment. Despite his remorse, Cain's story ends on a note of tragedy and estrangement. Genesis 4:16 through 17 describes his exile from the presence of the Lord. Then Cain went away from the presence of the Lord and settled in the land of Nod, east of Eden. Cain knew his wife, and she bore him Enoch. When he built a city, he called the name of the city after the name of his son Enoch. This narrative portrays Cain as a wanderer and outcast, cutting him off from the fellowship with God and estranged from his family and community. In addition to his role as a central figure in Genesis, Cain also holds a symbolic significance as a representation of humanity's fallen condition and the persuasive influence of sin. His story serves as a cautionary tale about the destructive consequences of jealousy, anger, and disobedience, as well as the necessity of repentance and redemption. Despite his status as a murderer and outcast, Cain's story ultimately points to the mercy and grace of God, who offers forgiveness, restoration to all who turn to him in repentance and faith. The story of Cain in the Bible is powerful narrative that explores themes of jealousy, sin, and divine judgment. Through his actions and repercussions, Cain serves as a vivid example of the consequences of disobedience and the need of repentance and redemption. Despite his fall from grace, Cain's story ultimately points to the mercy of God. Through the story, Cain highlights the profound depths of human sinfulness and transformative power of God's love and redemption. Thank you for watching In the Beginning, Profiles of the Bible. This has been Cain. We hope you enjoyed. Please hit the like and subscribe button, and have a great day.